This is KGW News at noon.
We begin this noon with breaking news out of Salem. Multiple witnesses tell us police shot and killed a man. This happened just a few hours ago near the Napa Auto Parts at Commercial Street and Barnes Avenue. Our Mike Benner is in Salem now. And Mike, you just got there not too long ago. What can you tell us about what may have happened?
Well, you said it, multiple people telling us that this is a deadly police shooting, and we're saying police based on the number of Salem Police Department vehicles that are out here. In fact, a number of them are surrounded by these yellow evidence markers that you see right here. The street you're looking at, this is Commercial Street between Barnes and Kubler, and it's shut down for this police investigation. A number of detectives are on the ground here canvassing the area for evidence. We've seen drones in the air as well. And as we show you some video of the scene, we can tell you this all unfolded around 9 o'clock this morning. We know that police were chasing an individual. We don't know why, only that they were chasing a man, and it all came to a head in the parking lot of the Napa Auto Parts at Commercial in Kubler. Witnesses tell us there was an exchange of gunfire between this wanted man and officers, and we're not talking 1, 2, or 3 shots. We're talking dozens. That's what witnesses are telling us, and it ended with this wanted man, this wanted individual dead. We've spoken to a number of people out here, and I want you to take a listen to what one of them had to say.
Cops shot back at him when he was on the ground. They hit him about 6 or 8 times, and he started moving a little bit, and the cops told him, put your weapon down. But he was already dead.
All right, back out here live in South Salem. Again, a deadly police shooting. It appears to involve the Salem Police Department. They sent us an email not too long ago saying that they will be sending out a press release very shortly. We'll have live reports on KGW News at 4 and 5, and of course, keep an eye on KGW.com as well. Let's send it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Again, Mike Benner out there live for us in Salem. Our crew is going to be out there all day long trying to learn more about what happened. We'll have the very latest information on our website, KGW.com, and also on air starting on our 4 o'clock newscast. Meantime, today investigators busy trying to figure out the motive behind a shooting that left 10 people dead at a Lunar New Year celebration over the weekend in California. The man suspected of opening fire is dead. NBC's Kate Snow is in Monterey Park with the latest.
The man authorities believe is responsible for killing 10 people at a ballroom dance hall is no longer a threat. Investigators say 72-year-old Hu Can Tran opened fire inside that crowded ballroom in Monterey Park after 10 p.m. on Saturday.
Additional units requested, multiple victims, gunshot wounds.
5 men and 5 women were killed and 10 others wounded. Witnesses inside described the confusing chaos, initially mistaking the gunfire for celebratory fireworks. Outside, emergency crews treated the wounded in a nearby parking lot and transported others to area hospitals. It happened in one of the largest Asian American communities in the country, about 7 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. Earlier Saturday, thousands were at a festival to celebrate the Lunar New Year, including Amber Clements.
You were a few blocks away, and what did you hear? It was 6 continuous shots.
Tran had been a familiar face at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio in Monterey Park, though it's unclear how often he visited recently, 3 people who knew him told CNN. While investigators have not yet determined a motive, they say this may not have been the gunman's only target. Just 20 minutes after fleeing the first scene, the armed shooter went to a different ballroom dance hall. The sheriff says 2 people inside wrestled the weapon away from him, and he ran.
He was disarmed by 2 community members who I consider to be heroes because they saved lives.
It took more than 12 hours for officers to locate the elderly suspect inside this white van about 30 miles away from the crime scene. Tactical teams breaking through the van's windows, finding the suspect behind the wheel with a fatal self-inflicted gunshot wound. Overnight, authorities carrying out a search warrant of the suspect's home, the shooting leaving his neighbors shocked.
Well, he was kept to himself. You just don't know day to day who's who and what's what.
Authorities trying to reassure the community there is no threat anymore.
You are no longer in danger because this shooter is gone.
But the aftershocks are still being felt.
I tried to reach them. I didn't get any answer.
This woman was searching for a friend who had visited the ballroom before, worried she may be one of the victims. 10 lives ended while out to celebrate a new beginning.
They are family to us. We've known, some of them have been here for 30 years.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, Lester Holt is going to be in Monterey Park, California. In fact, he's spending the day there digging into the shooting investigation, possible motives, and listening to survivor stories that are just starting to emerge. That's tonight right here on KGW at 5:30. Portland Trail Blazers fans are mourning after legendary announcer Bill Schonely died over the weekend. He was 93 years old. Fans packed the Moda Center for the Blazers game against the Lakers last night, and the team held a memorial for Schonely. He was the team's play-by-play announcer for more than 30 years. He called more than 2,500 games and coined the phrase Rip City.
What I remember about Bill is that his voice, like, Rip City, whenever you would hear, you'd get energized, you'd feel pumped up. So, like, whenever I think of him, I hear Rip City, and it's sad that he passed away yesterday.
Getting fans into the game, right, making us feel like we were part of the actual game, like we were part of the team. Hearing him on the radio, really just the excitement that he brought, the energy that he brought to the stadium and to the arena.
Good evening, basketball fans, wherever you may be.
Ooh, that iconic voice. The Blazers hired Schonely in 1970. He called games for almost 3 decades until 1998. He also served as an ambassador for the Trail Blazers starting in 2003 and ended up retiring last year. Rod, I know you had a chance to meet Schonely several times over the past few years.
Always such a nice gentleman that made time for people. And I think, Mr. Schonely, he loved being Mr. Rip City. He loved spending his entire life being a part of Portland Trail Blazer basketball and our community, and certainly a loss, as people say, like none other. And a long life, very, very well lived. Well, our weather is really nice this afternoon. On the satellite picture, here's a band of clouds you can see that passed us. Earlier this morning, that's the batch of clouds that produced a little bit of rain up around Astoria, had a little bit up in Cowlitz County, a few other spots had a few drips. That fizzled out. The clouds have moved on. And generally, this will continue to be a partly cloudy afternoon across much of the area, including the coast. There's Cannon Beach live for us. Light winds being reported all areas, by the way. 48 degrees there right now. Stoller Family Vineyards Estate down in wine country. We had dense fog down in the Mid-Valley earlier today, but most areas now show that has cleared. Here's downtown Portland, temperature currently of 47, which is what I had for today's high. So let's assume we're going to bounce up a couple more degrees and see a high of 49 degrees. Certainly very nice January weather continuing for your Monday. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rod.
My heart was racing and I was in shock.
That woman went through a super scary situation. She was held at knife point and her car was stolen, all while shopping at the Vancouver Mall Saturday. It was a really close call that luckily ended in no injuries and a quick response from police. As our Blair Best reports, the ones to blame are 2 young teens.
It was a typical Saturday afternoon for Paige Williams.
And I thought I'd run into Old Navy to get an outfit for my granddaughter.
When she got out of her car, she noticed a teenage boy watching her from across the lot.
So I left my car and I walked in the direction of the entrance of the mall. And then he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me." And I said, "Yeah, can I help you?" And he approached me, so I stood and waited for him, and he says, "Give me your key."
The interaction quickly turned violent when another teen came up behind her.
And we got between 2 cars, and then he had a knife, and he put it about like this on me, "Give me your key, I'm going to cut your face." My heart was racing, and I was in shock and just super scared.
Williams gave him her keys, luckily avoiding any injury.
I wasn't going to challenge what they were doing. I was at that point, I thought, you have the knife and you're this stupid to approach somebody in broad daylight, you can have my key. It's my car versus my life.
Although she ran back to her car where she had important medication, but she was too late. They had already driven off.
Please just get me my medication, and he just gave me the finger.
Shortly after the robbery, Vancouver police found the suspects driving in the area and tried to stop them, but they got away at first. Now, the victim tells us they were driving erratically and badly damaged her car.
Within just a few minutes, they're saying, yeah, we see the vehicle, and I started seeing police cars flying down the highway.
It was a bright green car, which Williams says made it easier for police to spot. They eventually caught the teens about 17 miles away in Clackamas County.
I got my car back because of the amazing work of the Vancouver Police Department.
The suspects were 13 and 14 years old. They're facing several charges, including robbery, felony harassment, and possession of a stolen vehicle.
It was wasteful. Now he's going to have a record if he doesn't have one already. He's messing up his life. He's going to put stress on his family. The other kid, I don't care what happens to him. He is trouble.
Both of the suspects are now at the Donald E. Long Juvenile Detention Center in Portland. Blair Best, KGW News.